Hey guys, welcome back. This is Ghost War 38 here. Welcome comic fans, pulp fans, and for this video, Phantom fans. I hope everyone's doing well. It is nice to be back, so I wanted to kick things off with a good start. This is the two-parter series, the great two-parter issue series, The Great Deception, through issues 1504 and 1505. This is a chronicle of the first Phantom, and this is a story in the last case that was from the first Phantom into his transition into the second Phantom. The one here in the second picture is actually the second one, and it's a future image from them. Him and his son. No, I was wrong. I correct myself on that. That's the first Phantom, and that's his son, who becomes the second Phantom. Looking back here, here's the back of the picture, or back cover, from part 2. And here's one from part 1. So opening these up, we'll get started, shall we? And be sure to do all those normal, lovely YouTube things. If you like the video, click that comment and subscribe, and be sure to stay up to date on all content like this. Stay up to date on content like this. Subscribe, and hit that bell notification, and click the settings on to all. Opening up both issues, so that way I can get one right into the other. So, picking things up here, we start in the 21st century with the 21st Phantom. Starts in the deep woods, and there's Garon. He's like, you can't sleep? He's like, no. He's like, this is a sensational document, Garon, written by the first and second Phantoms. It was stashed away when the first Phantom died. I found it last night. He's like, stashed away? Why? To protect the legend, I think. The oath on the beach, the promise, to combat crime. It didn't go as we thought. It didn't? It seems that parts have been edited to make a bit for an inspirational story. So, it's only a legend then. Where'd you find it? I'll show you when I've read you the first story, so let's get started. The year is 1549. The first Phantom is happily married to a Spanish noblewoman, Marbella, who has her own story in issue 1192. Their son had been born the year prior, 1548. And then there's a bunch of people coming aboard, not doing a really good job. Actually, things aren't looking pretty. Marbella clearly knows him. Donna Marbella, what a pleasure to see you again. So many years have passed. How did you find this place? How's my father? She's a friend of their family. Sad tidings, your father's dead. And then he relays how her father passed. Don't move, coachman, otherwise I'll kill you. Mercy, don't shoot me. What's this, highwaymen attacking us? Drop your pistol. So he tells them about how they died, and Marbella goes to see them. He's like, you're making a fatal mistake. You don't know who we are. You say, you share your breadbasket, woman. How dare you lay your hand on me? It's like, shut up, lady. And they're not having it. It's like, look what spoils we have here. It's like, what's going on? And basically, the Phantom drops in on all of them and basically shows them what fools they were to mess with his wife. He's like, the skull mark is the Avenger. Form a group. It's like, only a fool would attack us from behind. He's like, then I'm the fool. And he's like, what? Then he basically makes quick work of all of them. It's like, next. And he's like, nope, we're out. I'm sorry I couldn't come to the rescue earlier. I hope you're all right. Only we're a bunch of highwaymen. We could have taken care of him ourselves. And then his wife's clearly not happy with him right now. He's like, thanks for the help, but we're in a hurry right now. We're in a ship that waits us. He's like, I understand. How humiliating. I saved the archenemy, the Avenger, who killed my family, Ali Singh. Settle down, Zelina. As soon as we get a foothold in Europe, we can start to plan our revenge. We certainly shall, Ramon. Okay, never mind. This is somebody else entirely. That's not Marbella. That's one of the Singhs. This is Don Rousseau, a nobleman from my homeland. Here comes sad tidings. My father's dead. It's like, Senior Walker, I must return to become ruler. It's the wish of my people. I'm sorry, darling. This past year's been like a beautiful dream, but sooner or later we have to wake up. Come with us. There's no future for you. I admire everything that you do, but it's become an obsession. You become the Avenger to take revenge on the pirates who killed your father, and you have as good as eradicated the Sings, which is sufficient. Now you have other obligations, me and your son. It's time for you to put your oath behind you. He's like, you're right. So you'll come with us? Absolutely. So just like that, folks, there's a perpetual tear, as this could be the end of the first Phantom. And they're on board sailing. Take good care of my wife and son, Dawn. She's there. Inform the others. And this is basically to inform them that the Sing... This is Sing's crew, letting him know that Marbella has arrived. Meanwhile, Harbor City arrived. We're in festivities. Happy subjects gather to return for the princess's return, and she is conveyed by carriage up to the palace. Welcome home, princess. We're glad to have you back. And then they're talking, having some back and forth. Fantastic. They really believe you're Princess Marbella. Okay, so Sing is... I completely forgot about this part. Ali Singh. Rob Rabble. Zelina. So Zelina Singh is pretending to be the Phantom's wife, Marbella. Ah. Devilish and clever. That'll be interesting. Fits perfectly. It was destined to fit you. So basically, Zelina is pretending to be Marbella. They're all going on with a ruse. She's talking with her right-hand man, having back and forth. Where am I going to find the ruby? It's strange leaving home. This has been my home here. We're very upset to have you go. We haven't forgotten that you've given us our freedom. I remember the Wasaka Giants the first time I wore this outfit. But now it's all over. You can throw it away. You can't mean that, my friend. I promised Marbella that I'd begin my new life. The costume belongs to my old one. You're making a mistake. The Commandant, the one who served Zelina, has been woken by his servant. A visitor. She needs to see you. Tell the woman to go back, but she claims to be the princess. An imposter. Your Highness, my apologies. That's the real Marbella, because there's the baby Walker. Marbella's alive. Impossible, she could be dead. What was wrong? The Commandant's taken her for an imposter, and if we act quickly and discreetly, we can be rid of her. Are you ready, Ramon? Yes. Has arrived. At your service, your majesty. So, Zelina's men are taking Marbella hostage. And that's a mistake they will soon regret. What's the meaning of this? Why have you brought me here? So you can die here. The throne's already occupied by the princess. Zelina Singh. You have one You have one last wish. A quick death or a long and painful one. Repulsive swine. That's the friend of her father. She tries to help her, and they kill her. They kill him for it. He's like, you monster, you've killed him. Now give me the ruby, and I'll give you a quick and merciful death. It's like, what ruby? The one missing from the crown, of course. The fire ruby? It's like, you'll never have it. He's like, you are a stubborn woman. Undress her, search her, all the clothing, every inch of her body. And there's a scene where she's completely naked here. It's like, then you've hidden the ruby in your luggage, return to her. And if I find nothing, I'll be back, and that will be your last day on Earth. The new princess. Basically, Zelina is taking over. What has the man done? Princess Marbella sentenced him to death because he protested in his revenue collection. The princess sentenced him? He's not the only one. The princess's husband has come to witness the execution. The princess's husband, I don't know what's happening, but this can't continue. I will not stand while innocent people are executed. Let me borrow your horse. It's good to have you back. So basically, he knows he has to suit up again because because his wife's taken kidnapped, and the princess that he thought was Marbella is being taken hostage. Because Marbella wanted to rescue her and sell the imposter, I should have had my Avengers outfit with me. Luckily, someone brought it for you. He's like, my costume. You notice here that's a separate piece because there's just the hood. So they're probably drawing on the newspaper strips. Each costume has a different design, or at least that's what it looks like. I don't know. He's like, he's gone. That was in the nick of time, but we can't stay hiding here for long. And there's the panel that was from the back cover. Bella's husband must know where she is. If he doesn't cooperate, we'll kill her. I'll force it out of him. I'll need to wait until he's done. I must return to the ruins to discuss a few things with the prisoner. That's where the Phantom overhears it. Ramon Singh left at a razor, and an hour later my forefather was hot on his heels. The ruins of the old castle. My tormentor has returned, and he's not going to believe me when I tell him I can't give him the ruby. He's going to torture us, even kill me and little Chris. We must escape. Don't think, just climb. My rope is too short. I see. We're trying to escape, but we'll soon put a stop to that. And then this is where he does the most tragic part of it. It's like, hoist him up. It won't be the easiest job getting to the ruins unseen. Look, my friend, I have no other choice. So she lets go and falls to her death. Of course, the first Phantom is devastated and furious about what happened to his wife. He's like, oh God, no. He's like, we have to hurry. I'll take care of the approaching scum. I was filled with a terrible rage which I'd never known before. Just one word echoed in my head. Kill them. Kill them. Kill. 10 gold pieces to whoever administers the death blow. Kill. Run, you swine. I will hunt you to the ends of the earth. Well, he's naturally upset and about what happened to his wife. The guy falls. Help me, for God's sake, very well. And he's like, just for the sake of seeing you swinging from the gallows, the pleasure you'll never have, you damned fool. Crawl back under that rock, you snake. And then he falls to his death, so he's dead too. He broke his neck. Marbella, the coronation day arrived, and the whole palace was in a lively mood. Princess, the ceremony begins shortly. I'm coming. And they're still missing the ruby. There's a copy. It'll do as long as no one examines it too closely. The royal crown, our kingdom's symbol, is beginning us to by the Lord. And of course, the Phantom and Marbella, the real Marbella, show up. That woman is an impostor. I am your legitimate princess, Marbella of Maravilloso. Guards, arrest her, and I have proof of the missing ruby. It's because the ruby that you have exposed. It is because of the ruby that you have exposed yourself, imposter. As a child, I once borrowed the crown without permission and dressed up as my mother. The child played outside the creek, and I placed the crown upon my head. I stumbled and fell. A guard saved my life. When the crown was eventually found, that was missing. The ruby was missing, and I trembled in fear. But my father hugged me tightly and told me the guard to stop looking for it. He said that I was the only true ruby, and on that day, I could be the jewel of my country. He's like, you liar, curse you, and then she stabs the Phantom. And he's like, stop her, guards! And then all the guards surround Zelina. And then this part, the physician said, I will remain paralyzed from the waist down, darling. It's dreadful. Marbella, the only thing that means anything to me is that you survived the fall. So basically, Marbella is now paralyzed for life. He's like, are you going to return to Bengali, darling? Yes, darling, I was wrong. We are surrounded by evil. I must combat my oath. I must adhere to my oath and to combat evil. I can't come with you, but you already realize that. Our duty separates us, but in our hearts we will always be together. This is where I swore my oath years ago, and I shall renew it. And then he renews his oath. I swear once again to combat piracy, cruelty, and injustice. So it hadn't been for those pirates, Zelina and Ramon, the Phantom would have been a one-day wonder. Exactly. In the story which follows up is even more crazy. It has been recorded too. In the next issue, you see some preview pieces of it. the life of the first Phantom's son. And that is the end of the first issue, so bear with me, and I'm going to grab the second issue. And here's the second issue. A compartment, and it's a document. And this picked up from where the previous issue left. Is like, you already read one of them, what happened to the other one? It's even more fascinating before. It paints a whole new picture of the Phantom's origin. The first Phantom's wife, Marbella, inherited the throne of the Principality Maravilloso in the Spanish Peninsula, and the Sing pirates Ramon and Zelena abducted her, and Zelena tried to take her place, but your forefathers stopped them. And that's basically just doing a recap of what happened in the first part. In 1562, Chris was studying at London School, which was headed by a former monk whose name was Ambrosius. And then learning Latin, he was trying to teach Chris, the second Phantom. The thought that Chris would one day take over from his father had not yet entered his mind. But what about the oath? I'm getting to that. His father happened to be in transit and paid a visit to the school. Luke is here to visit you, Chris. Father? It's like, we'll talk shortly, but first I want a few minutes with Master Ambrosius. As you wish, Father. Chris is a good student and a good credit to you. I'm very pleased at that. But he's awfully bitter and feels you've abandoned him. Abandoned him? The boy's been here for 2 years, and this is your first visit. My work takes up all my time, and maybe you should think about how you utilize that. I brought him up to be strong and independent. If you don't change, you could lose him. I will visit him more. The visit awakened a flood of conflicting feelings in Chris. Why did he come now? He hasn't even bothered about me before. When the first memory of him was when I was 4 and I lived with my mother. I was awakened one night by the big, very badly wounded man barged in. His bloodied face was covered by a mask, and I thought he was a bandit. And why would Mother cry over a bandit? I didn't understand at all. Eventually I must have fallen asleep because I woke up to my own bed and I found him standing there staring at me. He frightened me half to death. I had nightmares about him for years. And just a few times we met after that I felt threatened. Whatever he says, he is not my father. Not really, for I have no father. And Zamfir Singh, who's the son of Zarina Singh, Marbella's younger sister, and married to ruthless and power-hungry Don Matrion. What's this about? I'm pressed for time. Revenge. The hussy on the throne because he allowed my sister Zelena to languish and die in prison. Okay, never mind, that's her brother. My wife is the princess's sister. I'm no fool. A life for a life, a princess's son for Zelena. And you seek the throne for your son, perhaps. The princess cannot have more children if her son were to die, and your son would be under your guardianship. So basically they're implementing a plan for their action, that is to eliminate Chris. Don Diego. So Diego de la Vega? Zorro, perhaps. This is interesting. Right first, I wanted to surprise you. I've missed you. I've relied writings, fencing lessons, and now I'm here. Celebrate. Hurry up, then, my throat's parched. 1560, there was strong religious tensions in England. Henry VIII's break from the Roman Catholic Church has occurred less than 30 years before. His daughter, Mary, tried to reintroduce Catholicism, but died childless in 58. Her younger half-sister Elizabeth inherited the throne and put a check on the reintroduction of Catholicism, and therefore full of Catholic dissidents. Sir Talbot, thank you for receiving me. I seek your advice on sensitive issues about the Queen. He's like, eyes and ears are everywhere. Be careful of what you say. I have this for you. And the guy's praying. There's a guy praying. Thomas Wyatt, my name is Christopher Walker. God has sent me to lead you to the path of everlasting glory. So basically, Chris has... No, that's not Chris. That's Zelena's brother. At the same time, the article betrays yourself as the public again, and you made out as you're Chris Walker. Of course, I haven't told him to remember the name. Sooner or later, under torture, he will name his conspirator, and he will be deliver will be Chris Walker. The following day, Queen Elizabeth traveled by ship from Hampton Court to Westminster. And then there's the Queen. Someone tried to assassinate the Queen. That was him. And they basically tortured the guy. open up. There's Father Ambrosius. What's this all meaning about? What's going on? The Catholic Hound conspired to murder the Queen. Impossible. Chris, what are you talking about? And this is a falsified document under Chris's name. And Chris is basically stuck in prison now. I was like, why is this happening? What is this? Why is this happening to me? He would not conspire against the Queen and must write to his father immediately. So Ambrosius hurries to write to the Phantom. I only pray to our Lord that it reaches him in time. Hardworking as ever, Master Ambrosius? Huh? Kit, that's Christopher Walker. What did we do? Master Ambrosius told my forefather what happened. They were going to torture him to find out the name of the other conspirators, but there's no telling what they'll do to him. I must rescue him. Forget it, my friend. It's impossible. Up, you get. The rack awaits you. I'm innocent, I swear. They all say that before death comes out. Here, we'll be fine. And then basically the Phantom, disguised as the executioner, starts to go to town on these guys. That ring, Father, it's you. Put on one of the guard uniforms quickly. Where's the executioner? He's tied up in the shed. So now what do? We get out of here. So basically they're making a plan to escape. We made it. Nice rowing. We have a long way from here with the unconscious guards. You'll be safe here for a while, Chris, long enough for me to deal with the scheming swine who set you up. But we don't even know who it is. We'll find out. Ruson's tell me all that's happened. You recognize the weak link. The letter few have access to your room. Do you have any enemies among your fellow students? Not that I know of. Then we must have been Don Diego who hid the letter. Like, what's impossible? Was he at any time alone in your room? No, but yes, for a short while. We shall test him, write and tell him that you've escaped and need his help. So basically they're thinking Diego's messed them, has screwed them over. So Diego received the message. Golden sword. Your grace, I'm instructed. Let her follow me. It's a place. Basically, they're luring Diego into a trap. The Phantom was in disguise. Have me flogged? I don't think so. You betrayed my son. Why? The princess's brother-in-law, Don Mentrion, paid me to plant the letter. I dare not say so. So never mind, this is not a Zorro reference, that's just coincidence. Swan, you were like a father to me. It's like, Chris, my God, I'm sorry. It's like, get out your case and write a confession. And then he stabs the Phantom. He's like, but not now. It's like, I'm dizzy. It's like, Father, out of the way, Chris. The pen is poison. Don't force me to use it on you too. If my father dies, I'll kill you with your own poison. So he basically scratches him on top of his eye. He's like, not with that poison, no. Chris managed to contact Master Ambrosius so that his father could be taken to the cathedral school. Where's Diego? I locked him in the cellar, but first I made him sign that confession, and it will prove your innocence. Yes, but my father, he risked his life for me, and if he dies, I've done all I can. Now his fate's in God's hands. He would sacrifice his life for you, Chris. He is your father. But conflicting thoughts again raced through his mind. I hated my father because he was never there when I needed him. I turned to Diego. Now he's betrayed me. Father could die, and Diego's the only henchman. Zamfir Singh and the Dawn is only a henchman. Zamfir Singh and the Dawn are the real villains. Father would have made short work of them. Now the responsibility rests on me. So Chris takes up the identity of the second Phantom. Zamfir and Diego, and not Diego, but one of his pupils. I don't know if it's pupil teacher. They're sparring. Kit, the second one, Chris, is in the uniform. I can only hope that the costume frightens him. That my father's reputation. And then he has a voice. You seem very pleased with yourself, sir. Perhaps you would like to put your skill to the test. The Masked Avenger. He's like, with pleasure, sir. Zamfir attacked violently. He concealed his lunges well. His riposts were swift. Chris was a capable swordsman, but I did not possess his father's strength and dexterity. You are not as skillful as I expected. And the sword is knocked from his hand. I'm not finished with you yet. Now begins a jolly dance, which ends in the grave. Basically, we're fighting until one of you dies, but not too slow. Chris is wounded, thrown through a window, and is about to fall. Keep climbing, and there's the panel that's on the back cover. And now is the moment of truth. I may have lost my sword, but now you've lost your pistol. And that pistol, before it fell, it discharged and shot and killed him. And then he falls to his death, even though he was shot in the previous panel. Yep, it's unbelievable. The pistol discharged and the bullet killed him and spared my life, but one criminal's still on the loose, Diego. And here they come. Oh yeah, the Dawn. I thought a warning letter would get the Dawn to ride to the coast. And then they tightens up a rope, gets them to all fall off their horses. He's like, what happened? A rope was across the road. We saw it was too late. It was effective. Now it'll be easier to deal with them. The princess's husband, it's him. He's like, I can't meet him in battle. I need to hide. He'll never find me here. A swamp. Maybe I could set a trap for him. And then he thinks he fools Chris by the fact that he's drowning. A swamp. His hat. He must have drowned in the mud. He's like, wrong, you fool. It's you who's going to be the one drowning. The swamp will be your grave. I'd really like to stay and watch you die, but I have to round up the horses. The mist has settled into the swamp. He can't see. Everything's hard to tell. And then he is the one who drowned in the end. And then Chris was clinging on for his life. He uses his belt to ratchet himself up to the tree, hoist himself up and out. The swamp has claimed you in the end, Dawn. And a few days later, the first Phantom was well on